Chicken neck? Hey!
Hello.
Tuesday.
Hey guys.
Still Tuesday, right? Yep, I didn't sleep through it. Tuesday.
Yep. Taco Tuesday.
How is everybody today?
Blessed.
And highly favored.
And highly favored?
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
That's very cool. I never heard
Blessed
that.
and highly favored.
What
You
does
learn
that
something
mean?
new every day, Paul. Isn't that amazing?
Yep.
Hey, Robert.
Hello.
Penny. Hello, Penny.
Awesome.
Hello.
Thank you, everybody, for coming in. Let's say hello to some people.
Some people.
Some
All
people.
You
All-
people.
Some of the people, all of the time.
You say hi to these people.
Hey, Robert. Hello, Mary and Dawn, two hip chicks, and Melanie Lightbeam.
Melody.
Hello, Melanie. I got my package today, Melanie. I love it.
And Robert's in the house again.
Well, you know.
Cajun Roots is in
He
the
just-
Oh, he's in the chat.
Well, he's in the house
I
and
got you stuck on that too now.
I
in the house.
Perlini, how are you doing, Perlini? Perlini and I were having a good discussion back and forth the other night. I had fun with that.
Cool.
Good.
Perlini, Robert, Cajun, Perlini, Penny Day. In
There you
the
go.
chat.
Scroll down.
Thanks for everybody for coming in.
Yeah. Hi guys.
Arrive timely manner. Hopefully you're not getting that weather,
We're getting somebody's weather.
Melanie. I think Penny's probably getting that weather. Did you get snow up there?
I know Brandon's getting some. He said they were getting the blizzard coming in through last night and today.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I heard on the news this morning about the tornadoes and stuff in Alabama going over to the
Yeah, I saw that on the news this morning.
Yeah.
Georgia and the panhandle of
Yep.
Florida.
Yeah, we were talking about it in the chat. It's like, come on.
Don't let it come
Weather.
down. Yeah.
January. It's January.
Mary just can't stop talking. I don't know what's going on. Mary just talking away there. Talking.
She's waiting for something She's waiting for somebody to say something intelligent, I guess.
Yep.
That's rude.
I know.
Intelligent. You're going to be waiting for a long time.
I shoveled snow today,
She
so
did. She
that's
worked
my
her
thing.
butt off. She shoveled our driveway. She went over to my mom's house and shoveled her walkway and her driveway too.
Well, where she parks.
Well, yeah,
Wow.
but still, it's a lot of shoveling. So
Yeah.
you deserve
Yeah, it
a
is.
quiet time.
Mr. Stash, how are you doing?
Stash.
Penny had thunderstorms this morning. Wow.
Oh my gosh.
I like the shirt, Dawn.
Thank you.
It started snowing here about 2 o'clock today.
Very loud. I like it.
Wow.
It's comfy. Comfy shirt. If you hear
A scratching noise, it's a dog trying to get comfortable for the last 10 minutes.
10 minutes of
Aw.
scratching on the bed, on the little doggy
Wow.
bed,
I'm ready to go pooper one.
Wow.
like, lay down. Find a spot.
Excuse me.
I'm gonna go pop
That's
her.
pretty cool. Does he walk around, run around in circles?
She just scratch.
We have one that does that too.
Hey, Pick a
Trying to
spot.
fluff it up.
She's
Yeah.
trying to fluff something. I don't know what
Yeah.
she's trying to do.
Wow, these
Trying to
fellas are
beat the bed into submission.
It's like, should we take some stuffing out of the bed for you? Is that what it is?
Wow.
Dog's been pooped.
So I asked everybody to come in, and I wanted to do a little discussion. We had now 2 shows on this already, and still people are bringing it up that I bought so much stuff that I need to put it in a storage unit, and it's like, why put it in a storage unit when it's hidden away?
You could be selling that stuff.
You could be selling it because now Johnny and the 2 hip chicks up there both have antique mall booths.
Booths. Whoops.
Boots. Did you
Boots.
see Utes? The 2 Utes?
The 2 Utes have boots. I don't know.
Boots on the ground.
So I was thinking out loud to myself one day, and I said, "No, wait a minute.
In the bathroom?
I talk all the time.
Okay.
I'm my own best friend, so I got to talk to
All right.
somebody.
That's good.
When you're alone, it's like, what are you gonna do? Let me share my screen.
Well, for me, I talk to the dogs. They listen.
Oh yeah, Maddie listens to me too.
Our dog is
They're
deaf.
like, what do you
She
say?
doesn't
What
listen.
Oh, look, a
are you
calculator.
talking about?
Right. So let's say, and correct me if I'm wrong. I can't see the chat anymore, everybody, but follow along and just correct me if I'm wrong. Let's say I bought
He's going to be
a storage unit or an estate sale stuff, and I spent $200,
Uh-huh.
and inside it had, or out of the $200 grab, I got 50 items.
Okay.
I don't think that's unreasonable.
It was a small unit.
$4. Yeah, small unit. $4 an item.
So that's $4 an item.
Hey,
Mhm.
Misha.
So it's $4 an item that's my cost. $4 an item, right? So now, remember that $4 an item. Now let's say I
It's your job to remember that.
have
No, it's numbers.
let's say I have to rent a small storage unit,
Uh-huh.
a 5x5. I don't know what they cost. Let's say an average of $50 per month,
Sure.
right?
Sure.
Yes.
Sure.
So divided by $4, $12.50 a month to store that stuff.
I don't know. You also have to have insurance.
Probably.
Oh,
This
you
is required you have insurance. Yes.
have to have your own insurance for the storage unit?
If you don't have your own insurance, they will charge you so much a unit depending on the size of the unit.
All right. Well, just for the sake of argument, let's just say that this unit comes with insurance.
Okay.
It's a small closet unit, 5x5, 4x5, whatever, and I'm going to put all 50 items in there.
Okay.
So I'm paying $12.50 to store an item for a month.
Mm-hmm.
On your books, aren't you going to add that to your cost of goods?
You have to.
Well, you can either do it 2 ways. It's a cost. It's a cost of doing business, so it's square footage and storage, but you do end up, in the end, it comes over onto the cost of the item.
It's a business expense every month.
Right. So
Right.
it's tacking on. So $4 just turned into, whatever, exponentially.
About $8 or more you're paying a month per piece.
Yeah.
So you're thinking that I'm not gonna say that now my item is $16.50. My item is still $4, but I'm gonna use
So the expense of the storage now, because it's an expense.
Yeah. It's
Right.
it's a business expense.
But you're not coming out ahead because you're actually spending $8 per piece of item you have storing in there
Mhm.
per month that you don't sell it.
Right.
right. Well, that's what I'm thinking, because now some of these people, after a year,
Yes.
they're spending $150 an item to store it. So is it easier to say, well, now my item cost me $154?
Depends on how you cook your books, because that's what you're doing if you do it that way.
Right.
At that point, you're never going to make any money on these items.
Correct.
What you're saying.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I guess that's my ultimate point.
But
Is
not everybody keeps their stuff in storage and leaves it there. They're using it and they're rotating in and out.
Right. So it probably wouldn't be.
And I do know that there is a couple of YouTubers that actually use storage units to store their inventory
Yeah.
on shelves and things like that, where they go there every day, pull their items. But again, they're still using the storage as an expense to keep their products in a storage unit.
right.
I mean, the simple look at it is that do you want to pay that much to just store something, or do you? Paul's point usually is, or do you want to sell it and
Correct.
and pay square footage to sell something versus just hang on to it and continually add up the cost of goods.
Right. That's why, because when I don't know, one of you said it originally months and months ago, and it's like a light bulb went off. If I was a cartoon, there would have been a light bulb off here when
I had a bright idea, yeah.
when one of you said it. It's like, well, wait a minute.
I actually pictured that bulb, but go ahead.
Yeah.
Yeah, people are paying $180 a month to store their items, and it's hidden behind a steel curtain. You guys are paying whatever, and your items are available for sale.
Mm-hmm.
It makes nothing but sense. Well, actually, in your case, it makes dollars and cents
Yeah.
to do that. And I don't know why everybody's not doing it. Why put your stuff in storage in the first place? Why complain about, well, I have too much stuff in the house and now I got to go rent a storage unit? Why? Why not rent a booth?
Because you need the space, and you have a finite amount of space in your own home.
You can use the storage space for both, but Paul's point is it makes sense to get it out in the public eye and possibly sell it.
Yeah.
Especially items that you don't think you might be able to list on eBay or list on Facebook Marketplace or whatever. And you can still do
Robert
that.
made a point, assuming that you're only storing those items that you bought at that particular auction. Misha says that it stores itself. The storing isn't moving in rotation, then you're losing money.
You're losing money.
Yeah.
And Stash says you can write off the storage at the end of the year, which is your expenses. Keeping the same item in storage doesn't make sense, but if you use your storage for listing items, then it is all good. Yeah, as long as you have it listed that you have it moved once it's sold.
Right, and you can write. Same with the rental fee for the booth too, though. That's a write-off.
Yeah.
So yeah,
So your rental, because your rental is
it's a cost of doing business. Yes, it's a write-off.
Hmm?
Yeah.
So, but the thing is, one's a cost of doing business and your stuff is just there.
Right.
One's a cost of doing business and you're possibly getting sales. Like both of you are getting sales, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Mike, I invited Mike in January House, and he says he got the idea from listening to us, I think, talk about it before, and he's getting sales.
Mm-hmm.
That's when he started his auction, was the last time we did this show.
Yeah.
He went and get
or his booth. Yeah.
And there's people out there that are in, I've talked to a couple just on Johnny's chat, your chat, whatever, that have a permanent booth in an indoor flea market that operates year round.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, even I had one 17 years ago when I first moved here. So there's that also. It's fear, excuses, and the unknown. Now there's Melanie who took the ultimate leap and is opening a store.
Yeah.
Right, a storefront, brick and mortar.
A brick and mortar storefront.
DC South says I do. I do what?
I'm not sure what I do.
I do.
I'm booth shopping right now, Misha says.
Here's the link. If you or Melanie or both of you want to come in and talk about it, come on in. $80 per weekend, 10 by 20, 2 booths.
That is at a flea market.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. 10 by 20 is a big space.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's what mine was at the Flea World up here in Florida.
They called it Flea World?
Flea World. It's
Okay.
it's going to be apartments now, like everything down
Well,
here.
then I call it Flea World Apartments.
No,
That would not be fun.
calling it. But mine was only, I think, $180 for the month.
Yeah.
Wow. So, Howard, I don't know which one of you want to go first. How are you guys doing with the booths? And now nobody goes.
Okay, she
Yeah,
wants me to
nobody
go
goes.
first.
Sure.
I actually done pretty good, and what I did was, I started with a bookshelf type booth.
Uh-huh.
When I first started, a little over, I'm gonna say, in the February, beginning of March of last year, and that was right before all this pandemic started. I started with a booth that was like a corner shelf, bookshelf,
Mhm.
and then I want to say August or September, I went to another booth, so I had two, and I used a lot of the bigger bulk items to put in those booths. What I did was last November, I changed it to where one booth is strictly glassware, and the other booth is all hard goods and large items like sewing machines and old TVs, black and white TVs, and portable radios, and stuff like that. And then in every month except for the month of October, I only made like $35 over my rent, so that was the lowest amount month I've ever had.
Mhm.
Usually, now mind you, when you sell in an antique mall, the way I do, you get your money over the rent. Like, say your rent is 150, you sell 300. They're gonna write you a check or give you cash for that 150 because you got to still cover your rent, and then the rest goes to you.
Mhm.
They take care of the taxes. I just have to pay my rent, keep up my booth, and that is it. And then in each month, I clear out the books by the 7th of the month, get my money, and put more in it every week.
Mhm. Yeah.
A question,
Mhm.
because I know Dawn does this, but
Yeah.
you couldn't you not only use the booth to sell your product, but advertise your YouTube stuff, your eBay,
I didn't know what you were going to go to.
your eBay stuff, and in other words, use your booth as an advertising vehicle for the rest of your business. Your
All
Macar.
right, I'm going to share my screen, and I'll answer that for you immediately.
Yep.
Go.
You got to put it up there though. There
I
you
know
go.
I got to get through the little step here, step there, step.
Here's
Okay.
step, there's step, everywhere
Yeah,
steps.
exactly.
Yeah.
This is my first booth I started with. If you notice right here, Cajun Roots Reseller.
Yeah.
Cajun Roots Reseller.
He's
Right
branding.
here, business cards.
Mhm.
It's got my eBay, all my information, my email, everything, how to get in touch with me, right on that card.
Okay.
That is my very first booth I ever had. Now, this is how I started. I basically did a little bit of stuff like this is a camera. All this stuff basically sold pretty much. The camera, uh, this is another camera. All cameras sell pretty fast. So this particular booth I changed to only glassware and breakables. And as you'll see throughout the different pictures, I definitely kept up with keeping it clean, always making sure my sign was clean, my shelves were clean, rotating every week. I would rotate, and there's my business cards right there.
Mhm.
And always making sure it's nice and clean, organized. A lot of times you'll get where people just throw something from somebody else's booth where you still got to keep that. That's not yours, to get rid of it. And so then this is where I started adding more stuff. Like right here, you see a old spice rack that had the old bottles in it, an old radio, transmitter radio, a turntable, you name it. I was putting it in there, and it was selling. No big deal. So then I started getting more and more, adding more. As you see, the radios and a Wedgwood and a Instamatic camera from Frozen. The other one's a little season rack.
Mhm. Spice rack. Yeah.
Got that at an estate sale. And again, you basically try things to see what's going to work. All this record player already sold.
Mhm.
A lot of these little knickknacks sold. All the old little things in there sold. Um, an old phone. You basically have to try. Now, this is my second booth when I decided to go bigger. Because this right here, that's an old Japanese ginger jar.
Mhm.
I had gotten it for free. When I was cleaning out some houses after people had moved out, I had to clean it out. They told me I can have it. I've had it for a couple of years. I enjoyed it. I put $195 on it and it sold within 2 weeks.
Well, hold on 1 second.
Mhm.
A guest book is a good idea. I think Don
Yes.
does that. I'm not sure. And here's a question for both of you. How much time do you spend maintaining the booth on average?
For me, once a week, 30 minutes top on both. Now, again, I already have my stuff tagged in inventory before I go to the booth.
Mm-hmm.
That way I just have to rearrange, clean, dust, 15, 20 minutes max. I would say 15 minutes per booth, and I do have 2.
And what about you, Don and Mary?
Yeah, we do pretty much the same. I mean,
30 minutes to an hour.
Yeah, we're 30 minutes to an hour because we've got a 10 by 10 space, and that's bringing in inventory. That's not the pre-tagging and the pre-inventorying and stuff. We do that at home, but
Correct.
when we're actually at the booth, it's a little more time because it takes like 15, 20 minutes to get there. But when we're there, we're pulling old stuff, rotating in new stuff,
Moving stuff around
because you want to keep it fresh. And but once a week is plenty of time to go in, pull old stock or rotate stock, and then put in new. So
So then when both of you go to your booth, your mileage is a deduction and your
Mhm.
time, right?
Yep.
Okay. All right. No, go ahead, Johnny. Sorry.
All right, so this is when I first started setting up my second booth. And I basically just started bringing a few things at a time because I set up the second booth. I finally got it available. Then you see I have a little shelf back here. Well, recently they changed it, but I started bringing shelves in every week. I would go in, or every other day I would go and bring more. So as you see, you're going to start seeing how I built it up. Where then I had this little shelf in the corner, this little yellow shelf. By the way, today I sold it for $45. It was free. Somebody asked me if they can buy it, and one of the ladies who worked there, I said, sure, no problem.
Let me
So I
ask
sold it
you
for
another quick question. Sorry.
Mhm.
When you started these booths, you
Mhm.
also did eBay.
Yes.
Oh yeah.
Macari, Etsy, Bonanza, yes.
So how do you determine what goes in the booth, or do you also add things in the booth that are listed on eBay and Etsy and that stuff?
No, I do not. When I decide what goes in this booth, things like this right here, this ginger jar on that second shelf,
Yep.
that blue, I will not mail that nowhere. I would rather somebody grab it, take it, and go.
So I don't want to mail that sucker.
That's right. And this right here is a Mardi Gras glass. It's one of those Fentons.
Yep.
The same thing here. I'd rather them see it, pick it up, and go.
Yep.
I'd rather not deal with mailing that in the mail.
All right. And Don and Mary are the same way?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we have our separate inventory. We don't cross post.
Nope.
Usually. And if we pull it out of the booth, say we rotate it out of inventory of the booth, then I will go ahead, unless it's of course a Ming vase or something, I will list it on eBay and
Right.
sell it that way,
or sell it on the website,
or sell it on the website, or sell it on
Etsy.
Facebook
Yeah.
or Etsy. Yeah.
And
Okay.
then if it's gone through all those cycles, it goes in the garage sale pile.
Yeah.
Right.
Okay. All right, Johnny. Sorry.
I'm trying to find my first sheet of when I'm looking for something real quick. Here it is.
Thanks everybody for coming in. Hi, Dolly. If you want to come in, because Dolly does have storage units.
Now, this particular booth, the actual size was 30 inches by 43 and a half inches. So that's really not that big.
Wow.
But you make do what you're doing when you're
Oh,
first
yeah.
starting out. For me, I took the smallest they had, and I've been eyeing this particular booth. I worked it for a while, so then I still have this one. As you see, I added more,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just keep adding more and more. Now, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take that one away, and this is my second booth now. As you see how full it is.
Mm-hmm.
But
It's
now
not
this
really a
tree is-
booth. It's a shelf.
Yeah, but it's
Right.
classified as a booth.
because of the small space right here.
Yeah.
They even started putting red tape on the floor, so they got rid of this tree, and they condensed my booth right here, so you even got it smaller.
Ah.
So as you see, I don't have the shelf that's behind it that was there. That's gone. But this is what I make do with what I have, because there was no other booths available. And this is just an inside view where I took some cubicles and made some shelves. Then I have a display with keys, the way they have to ask at the front desk for keys. These are little higher dollar pieces.
Mhm.
These are in a grab it and go kind of thing, but those are like less than $10 or less. Like this TV, this speaker set, all of this is sold and gone. So I have to always remove or change things around. Now, this right here is all higher end dollar jewelry or pieces.
Mhm.
Same thing here. That's a lockbox there with some other stuff there.
Yeah.
So you basically keep moving things around. You see this little edge piece of this sewing machine?
Hmm.
I have another camera right here. Every week I move things around just so it's not in the same spot every time I go there.
Yeah.
So I was hanging stuff from the tree. You make do with what your space has available.
Oh,
sure.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Yeah, and so I made sure I used the shelf here on the back shelf because there was another shelf here. I was able to supposedly use this back shelf right here to hang pictures on, but then the next thing you know, they took it away from me and gave it to the lady across. As
Oh.
you see, there's a shelf right here. But it
Mhm.
ain't there no more. It's gone. So anywho, this is what I did. This sewing machine sold. I had it listed for $245 and it sold. I paid, I want to say, let me look real quick before I don't want to lie because I got my invoice right here.
I didn't come with invoices. Did you come with invoices? No. Damn it.
I'm sorry. It's just the way I am.
You are the
This
organized.
is Johnny. Johnny's got invoices. He's got receipts.
I paid $45 for that sewing machine,
He's got his birth certificate.
and I sold it for $249.
Nice.
Wow.
Yeah, and it had the little top case. So that's gone. And again, as you see, I keep moving things around. Like you remember the scene, you saw this in that other booth before? Now it's in this booth because I keep moving things around.
So Lisa C has a question. Are there?
Yeah, I was just going through all
Okay.
the questions, but go ahead. No, go ahead. I'm still way up here.
Are you way up there? Well, she's asking, is there any types of items that you're not allowed to sell with booths in antique malls? And a quick response to that is every place is usually different,
Yeah.
and they will put guidelines down. Some will let you have collectibles, modern collectibles. Some won't. Some will have a specific age that they want you to stay on. As far as antiques versus vintage, etc.
Yeah. Is there a competition clause that you have? Like, oh no, Judy over there selling gold,
No.
but you can't.
No.
Not in ours.
No.
But some places will. They'll say, okay, we've got 2 people or 3 people who are selling records. You're not allowed to carry records, or whatever. And it all depends on who owns the booth or who owns the mall, antique mall or space.
For example, you're going to get a thing of rules and regulations of what you can and can't have if they have anything like that.
Yeah.
In my case, it says allowed. It's called Oh My Gosh, so OMG allows antiques and collectibles. Collectibles covered in a wide variety of items. Clothing, newer electronics, or appliances must be approved by Ms. Cheryl, the owner. If you're unsure, please make sure you check with one of the staff members.
Yeah.
So yeah, they do have that, and as well, you definitely have to follow their rules. They even have certain ways they want you to fill out the little tag you stuff with as well.
Do either you have more pictures, Johnny?
Yeah.
Do either one of you have your store name, your YouTube or your Facebook or on your items? So when the person leaves, they also have your contact information?
At our booth, it's already on Facebook. So everything that they post that we post goes automatically on the Oh My Gosh Antiques and Collectibles on Facebook.
But when they buy, you don't have their information, right?
No, unless I start. I'm getting to that next. What I'm going to be doing once I show my new booth. Yeah.
All right.
The way this is set up, I cannot really do a sign-in book or things like that.
Right.
So here's just another angle of the same booth I'm in right here. As you see, you can see how they took away the tree's still there right now, but it ain't there no more because they took it out. And again, that's another booth there. Now this is going to be my new booth. It's 120 feet deep, 10 feet deep.
Inches, not feet.
8 inches. 10 feet.
That would be an enormous booth, 123 feet.
120 inches, 10 feet is what I try to say. I'm sorry.
10 feet, yeah.
Yeah, 10 feet. That's the first one I took of that. Its wide is 6 feet 2 inches wide.
Nice.
Okay.
So 6 by 10. Nice.
This is what I have. I'm gonna have now as of the February 1st. I will start moving it. This right here, when I went about 3 weeks ago, there was no for rent sign right here, and there was a long wedding dress hanging against this wall right here on a mannequin.
Yeah.
So when I went in today, because you can see my boots right here, the one I used to have right here.
Yeah.
Oh, see right here, there's my booth.
Yep.
Now I'm
Okay.
going to be, instead of it being against the back wall, I'm going to be on the main aisle now.
Good.
Nice.
Where I'm at. This is going to be on my new booth right here. And then I took another picture higher, trying to give it a depth so you can see. And I also have all these walls that I can hang picture frames and things like that. They put this lattice work here from the last person that was there, but again, I can do whatever I want in the booth.
So you could hang any kind of fabric or any kind of wall covering.
Yeah, this has like a chicken wire, but behind this,
yeah.
I
Looks
forgot
like
what you call
burlap
this.
or
Burlap.
canvas or something.
Yeah, that's all burlap.
Now, on these booths, Johnny,
Uh-huh.
you have to. Oh, there you go. You have to supply your own racks.
Now, if you rent a booth that has shelves, glass cases, or whatever, that's part of your rent. But if there's nothing in it, you have to supply whatever you want to display your item on.
Okay.
Now, what I'm going to be doing is I'm going to be bringing my shelves from the first booth I've had, the second one, and I'm going to start moving them into this booth. Then I can start adding more shelves and bring it wider because I have some paintings that I want to put
Nice.
that I can't do right now because I have no space to put it.
Yeah, DC
Now-
says they have vendors malls, not antique malls, that sell anything and everything.
Mm-hmm.
We
Now-
have here, because we're so close to Disney and because we get so many people, they have what's flea markets,
Mm-hmm.
but most of them sell brand new stuff.
Right.
Socks, T-shirts, the heat and press Disney shirts, 5 for $10 or something like that. It's very hard. They call it a flea market, but it's very hard to find old stuff. People
Right.
that for the weekend.
Now, we did go to a flea market last year where there was an indoor and outdoor. The stuff more on the inside was more a little bit older than on the outside.
Yeah.
There was some vendors that had a lot of older stuff, but they wanted really a lot of money for it.
Mm-hmm.
Now, on my situation, my two booths,
Box
I'm
spring.
going to be condensing to that one big booth, and it's only going to cost me $47 more a month.
Wow.
Nice.
So, all right. Now I was going to ask, but no, it's all right.
What?
I was going to ask you what the price is for a giant booth like that, like a 10.
That one's going to cost me $195,
Okay. All right.
but that's $47 more than what I'm paying now for two booths.
So almost $200, and I hear people spending $200 a month for a storage unit, a 10 by 10 storage unit.
And I have to go I have the one that had the tree in it. That one's where I put a lot of my jewelry in, and I cannot keep enough jewelry in that booth.
Yeah, you talk about that all the time about the stuff that.
I have a little container that I have to bring. I'm gonna bring a basket next time because I do a lot of I'd say cheap, but it's still good quality jewelry. But I don't put no more than $10 on it because I might have gotten it for 34 cents, 20 cents, 15 cents. So I don't go no higher than maybe $8, $9 on some of that stuff. $6, $7. So that's going in a basket. Now on the higher end side, those are going in the lock cases. I have 3 lock cases that they have to ask for the key at the front desk.
Yeah.
Now, somebody did ask the question earlier. Breakage. How do you handle breakage?
I have not had any problems.
We haven't had any problems, have we?
Mm-mm.
We haven't had any problems with breakage.
No, in other words, somebody picks up that Ming vase that you have on the shelf, and all of a sudden, oh, sorry. Or mother comes in with the kids and looks around but doesn't pay attention to the kids, and all of a sudden they're.
I need to ask our people about it. I've never thought of that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we haven't had any problem with it.
I haven't had any problems.
Theft?
Then
just run
again,
it
I
off.
I don't leave breakable stuff down waist deep down below. It's all higher.
Okay.
I try to keep anything like plastic or non-breakable items on the bottom shelf. Like I have the old GI Joes with actually Barry I think had one of those GI Joe cases. I paid way less than what he was selling that one for, but I turned around and put them in lots of like the clothing and the guns and the knives. I bit all that and put that in the booth, but it's on the lower inside so they can't break it.
What about theft?
I only had one thing stolen, and then they found it. Then I had one thing stolen actually that somebody actually took a letter opener ruler from an old Mexican leather scissor set that I had.
Oh.
And it was on the top shelf, so it had to have been an adult. There was no reason it could have been a child.
And
And
a lot of times, though, if you're in a multi-booth situation, sometimes people will pick something up in your booth and walk around with it for a while and set it down somewhere else. So it's not necessarily stolen. It might just be misplaced.
Right. And that's why I try to look around when I'm going around in the store, because like today when I went,
Susanna,
I had 6 things that wasn't even mine in my booth.
Yeah.
Wow.
So what we do is there's a bookshelf at the front of the desk where people pay for those items that are not in your booth, that you don't, that's not yours. You just put it there and then you turn and bring it to the person. The people who walk the floors bring it to the people's booths that they belong to.
Yep. Same thing.
two more quick questions before we go on. Talking about the floor walkers, do either one of you have to walk the floor as part of your booth agreement?
No, we don't have to. We can. But
we can work as a down payment on our rent.
Yeah, you can. It'd take the money off your rent. There are places that require you to do that.
Yeah.
And I think in our first show, somebody was talking about that.
Well, Robert's sisters, they have one in Illinois by their house, but they're grandfathered in because when they started there, that was one of the things that they can do is work some of those hours towards their booth rental while working the floor hours, but they had to work so many hours a week to be able to claim that.
Yeah.
So they do that. They still do it to this day, but I think only one of his sisters does it now.
And
he's grandfathered in for it.
Two hip chicks, you're in Michigan?
Yep.
And Johnny's in Massachusetts.
Right.
Do both of you have antique malls that are in touristy areas?
Well, Southwest Michigan is kind of a touristy area.
Yeah, we get traffic from Detroit and we get traffic from Chicago.
We get it both ways.
And then we get Indiana.
And the antique mall that we're in is located right on the main highway, and there's a McDonald's next to it. So when people pull in to take a break from traveling back and forth, they also will stop over.
It's also right down the road from the largest inland lake in this area.
Okay.
So a lot of Chicagoans own homes on that lake.
Yeah.
Because it's pretty big size.
So
a lot of
where Clinton and Sterling's at, Paul?
What was that?
Sterling and Clinton in Massachusetts.
No.
Okay, that's where where I'm at. It's in the main downtown area of Sterling, Massachusetts.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then Dee asked, what is your best-selling type of item? Like, is it glass? Is it jewelry?
It's hard to say.
We sell everything.
We sell everything. I mean, we sell vinyl. You know, we're selling records. We sell glassware. We sell vintage toys. So all
typewriters,
globes. You know, all sorts of stuff.
Mid-century paintings.
Yeah, everything kind of sells. So you know, there's some months different things sell too.
Yeah.
So
now,
for me, I'll sell like cameras. Every time I put a camera in there, it sells. Now, sometimes like the one I just put in there recently is still there, but usually within a month or two, it's sold.
Yeah.
It's like that sewing machine. Yeah. I just put it was a 1945 Singer in a wooden case. I just put that in there 2 months ago. It's already gone. It's sold.
Yep.
Now, you just never know. You just have to be willing to go in. And again, I go at different times of the day to see, and different days of the week to see what kind of traffic is going in through there. It's amazing. No matter what time of the day, what time of the week, what day of the morning, it doesn't matter. They're always busy.
Yep.
Wow.
Always.
Now, do you find that things sell good or well because people can actually
physically touch and see it? Yes.
And look at it? Because, you know, like Jerry always tells everybody, you know, we've been doing shows forever, and I'm the same way as Jerry. We used to do mail order at my shop and stuff like that, but that's the reason we go to London, to LA or Vegas to do these shows, because people can actually touch and feel it and stuff. So you feel that that's a big plus?
Oh yeah.
Plus you get impulse buying too. I mean, it's not just the touching it and feeling it. They've been looking for it for years and here it is, but that's, you know, something like, I don't know.
Well,
that's funky. I think I'll buy that. You know, it's an impulse buy too. So
Well, like
they're
you
thinking
said,
of it being a gift for somebody else immediately because there's something coming up or an occasion coming up, and it's like that'd be a perfect gift because that's what they like, or
right.
that suits this person or whatever. Yeah.
Well, plus it's an antique mall, and like with me with toys, people always say, "Well, I want to relive my childhood."
Mhm.
And I remember having the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles when I was a kid, or
Yep.
I remember having the GI Joes and stuff. And this one is only $50, and might look good on the shelf in my office. I'm an attorney or whatever, but
Right.
people want to relive their
Oh yeah.
childhood.
Now
Oh.
we've gone into some antique malls where some of them prices are so high. It's funny that you'll see someone that say, "Well, it's selling on eBay for this price." You go to look it up, and it's what they're asking for, not what it's sold for.
Yeah.
Wow.
Did that a lot.
Penny asked, "What about refunds?" I guess.
No.
No refunds.
As is,
No.
where is
So-
There is a
as
sign
is.
at the register. As is, no refunds. Now, if the owner decides, say for example, like I was there today, and some guy was looking at a whole bunch of stuff, but there was a box of Pokemon cards, and he did not know if he remembered if he bought that same exact box before. So he asked her, says, "Can I return it?" She says, "As long as you don't open it,
Mhm.
I'll let you return it. But you have so many days to do it."
Yeah.
But you have
Now
to
that's-
ask.
Now, see,
That's
that
the
goes back.
chance you take it.
That goes back to one of the other questions. Pokemon cards came out. The one he's probably looking at maybe came out last month, which is really not an antique,
Exactly.
but it's highly collectible.
Well, there's a lot of booths that have a lot of different types of collectible cards,
Mhm.
different types of games, different types of like the Hess vehicles, you name it. And it's like you see some of the stuff, it's like, wait, why is this in an antique mall already? Doesn't matter. They got one booth that does nothing but toys. There's one booth that takes old jewelry and makes a picture out of it and sells it like that.
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So has COVID stunted your sales at all?
Nope.
Not really. I mean, for a while, our booth, the
The
entire
mall was
was
closed.
closed. Right, we had it shut down.
Because our governor shut everything down.
What was
Right.
it, a month and a half?
About 2 months.
Almost 2 months.
At the beginning of it.
Yeah. So, but and again, it depends on who owns the mall or who owns the space you're in. But they were very cool about.
They didn't
Rent.
charge us rent.
They didn't charge us
Yeah.
rent. They didn't even
Nope.
charge us. And I thought, well, they'll charge us just storage fees, right? Like a storage per square foot. They didn't,
Which we would have
Nope.
paid.
and we would have paid
Right.
it because
Right.
our stuff
He's
is
got a
sitting
mortgage to pay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
So after they open back up, I mean, there's you have the in Michigan you have to have a mask on, you have to maintain social distancing, wash your hands, don't come in if you're sick, kind of thing. No, traffic really hasn't slowed
We've
down.
made rent every month,
Plus.
Nice.
which is
Susanna,
amazing.
Susanna, very good idea. I love the idea. Very expensive. And I can talk to you about that, but great idea. All right, so let's go to the two hip chicks. I think the biggest expense, Susanna, you'd have other than the total rent would be liability insurance.
For the space.
I think antique mall or storage lockers, I think, is a fantastic business. Having a storage locker business is almost like real estate.
Mhm.
Only instead of evicting the people and waiting, depending on what state you're in, if they don't pay their bill 3 months or whatever, right? That's it. Lock up the stuff and then you auction it and get money back anyway.
But they still have until the day of the auction goes to sale to pay it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And they can stop the auction up to that point.
Right. I think that's an awesome business.
Now, going back real quick to the question about if we were closed and if it rented in our state, we were closed for the first 2 months. What they did was we were able to post pictures of something that we put in our booth. We were able to go to the mall only between the hours of 11 and 1. And that's it. But to purchase something, you posted it on the Facebook page. They were doing what was called the porch pickup, where they called it in. This is what I want. This is the booth that's in.
Okay.
How much? And I want to pay. They pay for it. And what they did was once it was cleared through, they put it in a box. There's a locker outside, and that way they came in and got their stuff in a bag already paid for. They didn't have to move.
That's a good idea.
Nice.
We were only able to go for 2 hours.
Cool. All right.
Yeah.
Let's see that I'll be. Go ahead, talk. Two hip chicks. This is your booth.
This is my.
Oh my God, the host just left.
Well, Paul runs to the bathroom. Let's talk about our booth, shall we?
No, my shades were open and the lights on, so people.
Oh, I thought,
oh, my windows
you
are
gotta
tinted.
go. You gotta go, buddy. I can't help you there. Okay.
Yeah, it's
So, we have a 10 by 10 space, and it's got this
pegboard.
pegboard on two walls. So the two
Every booth has
outside
got
walls,
pegboard
and the wall on the back is brick. Okay.
because it's an old grocery store.
Yeah, so
Right.
grocery store, and they built 10 by 10 or 10 by 20 booths, built walls, and they go up about 6 foot high,
They're
7 foot high.
No, they're taller than that.
All right, 8 foot
Because I
high.
have to get on the ladder to get to the
They're
top.
Anyway, so we went in, and the first thing we did is we painted it this lovely light blue color because our booth is located. As you walk in the door, you can see down the aisle all the way down to the back wall, and our booth is right within visual distance of the back wall when you
Oh,
walk
that
in the
blue.
door. And everybody else was painting them green and brown and tan and everything. So we're like,
In gray.
and gray. So this is a little sign we have up there. It's the booth number, and you can see the items. We have our own little tags that we put on them. We do the hang tags, or we do sticky
You can see my
tags.
poor pathetic plant there.
That poor plant. My job is to go in and put water in that plant. It looks better now. It didn't look very good there, but anyway. And so this is one of the pieces. They got room for this. There's Mary's leg. Anyway, we've got.
I'm not claiming that
This
leg.
was the desk that we ended up waiting to sell forever, but we finally sold. But you could stage it any way you want. You can put the big items in the front. You can put the big items in the back. So we have all sorts of things. You can see over here in the corner, we've got Star Trek figures and stuff. We've got cameras that sold. I think these
So
cameras.
actually, everything in that picture is for sale.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you didn't.
Except Mary's
only-
leg.
You
Except
didn't
my
accept
tennis
Mary's
shoe.
leg.
Mary's leg is not for sale.
You didn't. You didn't just have the desk for sale. You actually used it as a display too.
Yeah.
See,
Oh,
very.
heck yeah.
Oh yeah. So yeah, and most of the stuff that's on there is sold. Now here you see the collectibles stuff that we have.
Yeah.
And again, so some of this stuff isn't antique, but our booth,
It's vintage.
in our booth, they have no problem with collectibles either. So it's vintage more than antique.
And we try to keep it 20 years or older.
Yeah, we try, just because we don't want to have, too new of stuff in there.
Yeah.
So, and we use some solder furniture, basically the cubes you can buy here.
Which I think we got it like auction places,
somewhere, yeah.
online auctions.
But, everything else, of course, the pegboard, it's easy to hang stuff on pegboard. The brick wall is another story. So we have, we have a shelf back here. We have some records. We do have CDs right there, but I think that's sold too. And then you can try to stick things on the wall as best you can. That little itty bitty picture frame there is the one that flashes our information and stuff that Paul loves so much. And it's much more, it presents better in person, I guess. It doesn't look like it's very big there, and it just flashes our Etsy store information, our website, and then it shows some items we have. I don't have the YouTube on there yet, but I'm going to, and some other stuff. So, but everything, we've got all this stuff is for sale. Records do really well. And this again is a 10 by 10 space.
And what I did is I went to Joann's and I bought a large letterboard and
For messages.
So what I did is I put all our business information on it, how to contact us.
Yeah.
We have a Google phone number that gets routed to one of our cell phones. So stay on that picture a minute. So I have all that information that looks really nice on a letterboard, and I was able to put it up on the brick wall because there's some metal tubing or whatever.
Yeah, conduit.
Conduit.
That's how they run power to each booth. And we have power at our booth, which is cool. So we have
we have one measly outlet.
One measly outlet, but it's our outlet.
And
we're
we have
happy
to
with it.
share.
Are you charged for power?
No.
It's part of
Everything.
rent.
They shut everything off at night, so that picture frame reboots when they turn the power back on, and it cycles. So
Yeah.
it's not a problem where we have to go turn it back on all the time.
And we just sold that Peaches farm sign, hand painted farm sign.
That is so cool.
It's very cool.
There's 2 other ones on the other wall. I probably spent a couple bucks or something on buying that, and I sold it for 40, I think.
Nice.
Wow.
We picked up these crates here. These are also for sale.
We had to drive a half hour to get them.
But we got them at a decent price. So, and we cleaned them up, and that people have been buying.
They were
them.
nasty.
So they've been buying them. We've got peg hook shelves. We've got a little glass shelves that we picked up here.
Crates. I'm sorry, crates.
They're old orchard. We
live near orchards.
We have
Michigan.
a lot of farms and orchards in this area. So I found them on Facebook Marketplace when we first got the booth. And so Dawn and I went, and I think we got them for $2 a piece.
Yeah, it was really cheap.
Yeah.
And we loaded the car.
We literally loaded my Tucson. It was amazing. The stack.
What I was going to say is crates have been coming up at local auctions here a lot. Beer ones, Coke ones,
Oh, yeah.
milk ones.
People love them. They make things with them, or they use them to decorate.
And some of them are stamped with the family orchard name.
Yeah, you can't see
Yep.
like right there by that red glass. There's like a stamp for a local orchard.
But it took a lot to get them clean. They were pretty
I have
natty.
a quick question for you. Are those the crates that are wide enough that you can actually stand up albums in them?
Those you can, but
That's what I thought.
you see the little corner braces here
Yeah.
that support.
Yeah.
Those you got to be careful with albums, because if you get them in there too full or they lean too far, they will warp your albums.
Oh, yeah.
So you want to be careful of that. That's why I don't
Right.
recommend using them for that, but they will work for that.
If
And
you found
Dean-
them without those corners, yeah.
How much is the Star Trek picture? I don't know if that's what he's asking, but
I don't, off the top of my head, I don't
That
know.
I can-
Maybe 75, I think I have on it or something.
I
I don't
pull it
know.
up. I can pull it up on inventory after we're done showing.
and if
Okay.
anybody, hold on one second. I'm sorry. If anybody has a question, and I'm trying to catch up, not only listening to both of these knowledgeable people with this, but I'm trying to follow the chat too. If anyone has a question that we missed or you want to ask, just type it and put a couple of question marks before and after, and so it'll pop out. Sorry.
Dawn, I do have a question. On that shelf you have on the peg wall, how do you have that sitting on there with a shelf? Is that a glass shelf or just a wooden shelf?
You talking about this one, like right here?
You have that other one that has like the little cups and all on it with the little dog and all on it?
This right here?
Yeah. What is that
Yeah.
you're using as a shelf?
So those are peg hook shelf brackets, and they come out like 6 to 8 inches.
Right. Yeah.
And then it's just suspended from the peg hooks.
Okay.
It's a glass,
Oh,
it's a glass shelf.
Okay.
It's glass.
I like that idea. I would have
Yeah,
never thought of that.
It
Is
works
that-
well. You don't
Is
want
that
to put
Ralph the
too-
dog?
That's Ralph. That's Ralphie the dog.
Because I have those pegs. I just don't have I need to figure out a shelf. That's cool.
Yeah, just pieces of glass, and you don't put
Mhm.
anything really super heavy on it, of course.
Right. Exactly.
But yeah, it works. It works well for us for
I
those.
like that idea. Thank you.
You're welcome. So here's
Oh, yeah,
another
there's
corner.
the other 2 farm signs.
Yeah, there's the other 2. But you see, this is great to have. There's a couple things going on here. This stick,
Serves a purpose.
it's not ours. It belongs to the store, and because
There's a
up
lot.
above there is a switch that they have to turn off every night. So that stick has to stay there. It moves on occasion. It's not in front of our stuff right now. We moved it before the picture or after the picture was taken. But so yeah, they come in, they turn off the switch, and it turns off the power to the booths at night. So that's why that's there. So that's not ours. But otherwise, we have a little corner that has to have access. So I can't put a shelf
Right.
in here because they have to be able to access that light box.
Reach, right.
Yeah. So we're like, well, what can we put over here?
We don't want to tick off the help,
No, we don't want to take off.
who are also fellow
Exactly.
runters.
So anyway, we sell a lot of stuff. We got 45s here. We've got hats. I mean, there's just a ton of stuff we sell out of this booth, and there's so much that people just buy everything. So
it's profitable for you also.
yeah, this has been, and it only is profitable to you if you make sure you keep it up, and you keep.
You got to go at
rotating
least
and
once
keep-
a week.
Keep it fresh. Bring new stuff in. Take old stuff out. If you want to commit to seasonal stuff, then you definitely have to commit to it. But
And
so-
we did our research, and we're pretty fortunate that the booth is the size it is, and we have the wall space.
Yeah.
Um,
where Johnny was dealing with the shelf for
Yeah.
shelves.
And I got on the internet and started Googling how to stage an antique booth and, vintage and stuff like that, just to get ideas. I am not an interior decorator. So I wanted to get ideas of how people were staging things and whatnot, and how I could use, like that desk. How can we utilize a desk and make it
a display piece
and sell it without overcrowding it, so people could still open drawers and stuff.
So
Right.
this picture that right here, this brown, what do you want to call it? Abstract.
It's a mid-century abstract painting.
Is something that we picked up
Yeah, online auction.
in an online auction, reasonably priced. We would, shipping this.
I think I paid $60 for it.
Shipping this on eBay would be a pain in the butt.
And I knew that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
we put it up in the booth, and what did you end up selling it for in the booth?
$350.
There you go.
Oh boy.
So that was a big win for us.
Nice.
It sat there. It was a long-term item.
Oh yeah, it was long tail.
And
But she researched the artist. She knew who it was.
the online auction place had misspelled the artist name.
So
I found it, and then I spent $60.
the piece of paper you have next to it right here.
Yeah,
which is
and
partially obscured from the.
So
photo.
for a high ticket, I actually had like $450 on it. And the week we were going to go in to put stuff in, I was thinking seriously about taking it out because it had been there for like a year. And I got a call that week.
Yeah.
And the lady who wanted to buy it wanted to know if I would come down. So I actually had to negotiate a price
Over the phone
on the phone.
with the guy.
But
at the desk.
our antique mall is really good about that.
They'll call you and say somebody's interested and want to know if you'll take a lower price.
Right. Nice.
So while you're on the phone, they'll negotiate with you.
Do-
So
As
then-
long as you don't have firm written on your ticket.
Yeah, exactly.
Does
ahead.
sorry, I'm just trying to get these questions while I remember them. Do your booth managers or store managers on either one of you or both of you, do they ever give you suggestions or ideas like, hey, we've got a lot of calls for this lately, or people come in, they're always looking for this, or people look at your booth but they're not buying, you should try this? Do they ever do anything like that, give you suggestions or anything like that?
So most of the time, we get a lot of compliments on our booth for sure. Most of the time, I haven't heard a lot of constructive feedback from other people, but we do have some friends behind the desk. One of the guys we've known forever, he owned a store in one of the small towns we live near, and he usually will say something if something is either, something's hot right now or people are looking for something. He'll tell us. So make friends with the people who work the desk is my biggest recommendation.
Because what happened, like when we sold the desk, we suddenly had this big gaping space in a 10 by 10 space. And he did his darndest, because now all that stuff on there has to go someplace else. So he kind of quickly rearranged it on the floor and stuff just to make it still look
Presentable,
decent until he'll call us.
And say, we sold your desk. You better come and do
Yeah.
something.
Oh, wow. What about you, Johnny? Did they ever give you feedback like that?
Yeah, in fact, the lady who actually I was talking with today, who actually does the rental booths, I can ask her anytime I want. Is there anything particular that's selling and people are asking for it? She'll tell me. And if there's anything in my booth, like this is my second time she tells me a little bit about what to do different on my next booth. And then of course she was hagging me for that shelf that I had, the yellow one, and I told her, I said, well, that's pretty old. And she said, yeah, no, I like it, I want it. And so I talked her into it, and I said, okay, I'll tell you what, I'll give it to you at my cost. $45.
Nice.
But my cost was free.
There you go.
I sold it for $45,
Right.
Not bad.
She goes, that's all? I said, yeah. She said, I'll take it. I said, okay.
Because I know when I've been into a few in different states, and some of them are so big, it's like I just go up to the front desk and says, listen, I'm looking for this. Do you know any of your dealers or vendors would have this? And they would say yes or no, check out 192 or 57 or whatever.
Yeah.
So, I'm sure after a while when the front desk starts hearing, well, somebody's looking for, I don't know, Hood milk bottles, they're going to tell you, maybe you should stock up on Hood milk bottles.
Yeah.
Go ahead, but I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. So we we're kind of careful about pocket-sized items. And this is a locking case that we actually ended up picking up from her mother's
Estate sale. Yeah.
estate sale. And it was a glass. I mean, it doesn't have a light in it, but it shows up pretty good in the light there. But we have some more expensive pieces, more fragile things that are pocket-sized because to cut down on the opportunity for theft.
Yeah.
But and now this is in the front of the booth.
But
now.
we're gonna move it again.
Well, we're moving it again because I don't like it in the front. But it's got a bunch of figurines and stuff in it too. So it's more full now than it was during this shot. But it's having a booth is like always having a work in progress.
Yeah. But the more you change it, the more people. Because from what I hear, there's a lot of people who continuously go every weekend.
Mm-hmm.
And if they see the same thing in the same spot, they're gonna know that you haven't moved anything or changed anything.
Yeah,
so that's why it's important you do go every week because you just never know how many people are going to be continuously going the same week every week to see your stuff.
And see those cookie cutters there? When you have a booth, you want to think about having $10 and lower items because,
right.
And I have been selling them consistently.
Great for impulse buys
every month.
Yeah, especially off season, like after Christmas, before the summer rush shows up, those times when sales could wane in your area for whatever reason, have some smaller items, have some impulse items, have some things that don't cost a lot of money because people are obviously recovering from the last big holiday or whatever.
Exactly.
No, I just bought some cheap red ribbon and I put it on there, and so at Christmas time I have a small and like maybe a foot tall artificial Christmas tree that I use in the booth.
Oh yeah,
and I hang old ornaments, random ornaments that are old, and then I'll hang the smaller cookie cutters on it to give people ideas how to decorate and stuff.
Yeah, and they sell.
A couple bucks here, a couple bucks there.
Yeah. Some cool vintage color. We've got some pictures from
local town.
That's a local milk bottle, I believe.
Yeah.
So just and then different. You sell maps. You sell all sorts of
I
things.
sell vintage maps,
and people buy them. So, and I think that's it for my pictures.
Do either one of you work your booth? Like, are you actually there when customers are there?
Mm-hmm.
Do you like the interaction?
Oh yeah. I mean, we don't stand there and say, "Welcome to our booth." And
no, we get 6 feet away.
We get 6 feet away now. But
yeah,
when we're there restocking or moving things around or whatever, then we're usually there during customer time.
And we're always like, if there's any questions, just let us know. Browse around, and we have it so that when you walk in the booth, you have to kind of go around.
Yeah,
so the middle of it, we have
stuff,
the painted desk I did. And other stuff, typewriter stand, a typewriter.
Yeah, all sorts of stuff. And they can walk around.
So, they can't just look at the whole thing. They have to if their curiosity gets to them, they have to come in and walk around.
And one of the things, too, that I don't like when I go to any mall, whether it's my own or in anywhere else, the thing that deters me from going into a booth is when it's cluttered.
Yeah.
And if you move around, you can't move around too much because you're afraid you're going to drop something or break something.
Yeah.
And those booths, I don't even waste my time.
Yeah. If you can't walk in there and do this, you've got too much stuff in your booth. Is the way we look at it. It's just, you don't want to be knocking things over. People don't like to have to sort through clutter. It's visually confusing to them.
Yeah.
So.
Then the thing with the customer service, if I'm in my booth working, putting things, moving things around, cleaning or whatever, I've had people ask me, do you know of any booths that has Christmas items or this particular items or whatever? And I'm always in there walking around anyway, so I kind of know who is what, even though there may be some new booths now. But I do know the majority of those that have been there and what they have, because there's some of them that's still running 50% off sometimes just to get rid of their stuff to move it.
Yeah.
And so don't be afraid to go and buy from them for reselling as well, because I find a lot of good deals at 50% off.
Wow.
Yeah.
So now, Johnny, I've been, Paul the jokester, always been asking you for the last few weeks. Did you actually get the bigger booth?
The last picture I just showed you, the 10, that's my new booth. I will start moving in on the 1st of February.
Excellent.
Yeah. What happened is I had to wait. The lady who does it, she was out of town. She went to some conference or whatever out of town. She had to quarantine for 14 days or whatever. So I had to wait for her to come back. Well, she never got my message that was in the book because they have a book that they basically, if you have a question about something, if it has to do with booth rentals or you want to get a bigger booth or a smaller booth or whatever, there's a notebook. They put everything in. They didn't tell her that was in there and she didn't look at it. So she didn't know. When I walked in there, she says, "Oh my God, where you been?" I said, "No, where you been?" I said, "Because I've been waiting for you to call me." And we joke around like that all the time. And she's a very sweet lady, and you got to get to know the people there. I know the owner. In fact, the lady who owns the booth where I'm at, there was a church that was down in the middle of Templeton. Her fiance at the time passed away, and they put the church for sale, but it was an antique mall. The church was also an antique booth thing, where brother kept it when her partner died because they weren't married. They weren't officially married. She kept the one where I'm at now, and then the brother got the one at the church. So they just sold that recently, so we don't know what's going to happen with it yet.
Johnny, are you going to move? So you're going to get rid of the two small ones. You're going to put everything in the big one. Okay. I was wondering if you were going to just keep them all, but
no. What I'm doing is I'm downsizing, getting rid of the two smaller ones because I want everything in one booth.
Mm-hmm.
Because like the last couple of weeks when I go in there, if I have glass stuff, like that's another thing I didn't see today, glass roses. I had for Valentine's Day they were both in there. So they must have sold this one because it went on my December inventory. But again, sometimes I'll find something in one booth that doesn't go, that's in my other booth. So I had jewelry in my glass booth that doesn't belong there, it was in my other booth. So I really want to make it all in one to where when I go in there, it's one booth.
Yep.
And I recommend anyone. The way I started when I showed you the shelf corner one, that's what I started with. Then I was able to find bigger things and things that I know I can put in there. So I got a second booth and kept them separate. Now that they finally got another booth that came open that I've been watching, I was able to get that one. So you have to gradually work your way up and then get into a better position in the booth of the mall or whatever it may be. So that way you have more traffic in your areas. Because like before I was in the back shelf in the back corner. Now I'm in the main row now.
Oh yeah, that helps a lot too.
You have to work it. You have to show them that you're wanting to work it, and you have to go in weekly and keep it up because then they see that and they get to know you more. And so then you get more friendly with them, or they're going to expect that when you come in, they already know you by name. They know what you're doing. They keep an eye on everybody, you know. So that's why it's important to do that.
So both of you just have the one booth in the one location?
Yes.
For me, yes.
So and if anybody, once again, I'm sorry if we're missing questions and saying hi to people. Thank you very much for coming in. If you have questions, just put them in the chat and we'll do our best to see them. Now, being an online reseller, eBay, Amazon, Mercari, Etsy, whatever, bang, you're right here. It's on your desktop. I could do them all. What do you think would be the furthest away from where you live to get a booth? An hour, 2 hours, 3 hours? How would you research the traffic to make you say, well, this one's near Boston Harbor, so they're going to get, that's kind of easy. But what else would people look for? Because they say, listen, the closest place where there's antique malls is 2.5 hours away. What do you think would be the point where you say, no, it's too far, I'm not doing it?
For us personally?
The next closest one is a half hour away, at least.
The next closest one is a half hour away.
This antique mall is the only one in the county.
Well, at the time, it was when we were researching. There were others, but they were full. And then some of the ones that we researched had closed down, so that they're not even there anymore. And
there's some in South County, which is heavy tourist area. Right. They're very small little beach towns.
Usually privately owned though. And they don't sub.
Yeah.
They don't sub out. That's their own little business.
We're pretty fortunate that this one is, 15, 20 minutes away.
Right. The next one is
off the highway.
And it's right off the highway. So that's one thing to consider is time, for traveling and stuff. But also consider, then you have to do the research and find out, like you said, traffic. Well, you'd have to actually go in there and spend some time there to find that out. They're not necessarily going to be willing to they'll tell you something, but it might not be honest, you know.
Right.
So go in and look around, see how clean it is, see if the booths are kept up well, find out what the rules are as far as what they will let
Does
you
the
have.
ceiling leak?
Does the ceiling leak? We have a ceiling issue with ours right now, but it's not leaking.
The first thing I look at is I'm always looking up and looking at the ceiling.
Well,
Because it's an old grocery store,
it's an old
so
grocery store.
flat roof.
Now, Robert's going to have to answer this for me because I do not remember when I first moved here to Massachusetts. He brought me to an antique mall, and they had a couple of booths. That we would go there several times.
Mhm.
And I put my name down on the list. It was a waiting list. And so we would go there on a regular basis, and I wouldn't see anyone calling me back. So I would go back again and put my name down again because I saw some open booths. Then I'm seeing people moving and adding to it. They're bringing their stuff to another location in the mall. So now they got multiple booths. But the thing about it was they never called me back. Now I don't know how far that one was, but that was a decent one. But the only thing I didn't like about it was there was too many cluttered booths.
Mhm.
Now they did have a lot of glass cases where it was always lockable, from floor to ceiling kind of thing. The one I'm at now, where again before I even decided where I was going to go, we would go and look and shop, check it out, you know. And when I'm in a place, I'm constantly looking for how cluttered is it? Is it easy to move around? Is it a nice flow? How are the booths organized? That kind of thing, and how far apart are the booths? I look at everything, including the ceiling. Is the floors warped? You know, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
For me, the location I'm at is only 30 minutes away at the max, depending on traffic. It's a main strip highway. I get there, and for me, I like it once a week because I get to get out. 30 minutes, I'm fine. That's my little getaway from the basement. Oh, everyday work. So for me, once a week, I love getting out there and doing it. And on the weekends, Rob and I would try to find a different location or wherever we can go. A while back, we went to Rhode Island, and we went to this one place where it was an old carpet factory that they turned into an antique mall.
Wow.
the mills,
Beautiful.
like
It
all
was
the mills, right?
Yeah, the outside of how the building still had the original machine outside with the old
Yeah.
rug through the machine. That was how cool it was.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Do both of your antique malls have their own parking lot, or do
Mhm.
they have street parking?
Yeah, well, ours was an old grocery store, so it had its own parking lot.
Okay, all right.
And ours was an old cedar mill. Cider
So
mill, cedar mill.
how far? Like, let's say both of you, the antique mall business boomed. It's booming now, and you want to get another one.
Mhm.
How far away would you travel for another one?
Well, Robert said it was probably about 30 minutes away from the other one I was looking at. I mean, that would be a possibility if I needed to, because that was a main highway there.
So you would travel an hour.
Well, no, that'd be 30 minits
Oh,
Both
okay.
ways.
in a different direction. It's a different
Okay, okay.
because it takes me about 25 to 30 minutes depending on traffic.
I probably would. I probably would stick around 30 minutes.
Yeah. Because
After that, unless there was another thing to do there, like if there's another opportunity for sourcing a store that I couldn't get locally or whatever, then I might, you know, maybe they have a good selection of thrift stores or something. Then I might, you know, consider maybe going farther, but
Right.
it would have to be that.
right now this is convenient. It doesn't take a lot of time on the road. It doesn't take a lot of time away from doing internet stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So
And for me, it's relaxing because for me, working in the basement majority of the morning until I get my things that I want to get done for the day, and then I plan my day. Usually, it's on a Tuesday or a Thursday
Mm-hmm.
or a weekend. Like say Robert's off on a Friday, and I want to go, and he would want to go. Then yeah, we do because sometimes I even meet with Carol and her husband at the antique mall because he wants to go see the mall. He wants to go shopping. So
Oh, yeah.
that's one of the ways that they come and see my shop, my booth as well.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, that is my getaway. It's my little serenity to just get out and do what I got to do and come back home.
Yeah.
Granted, I'm still wearing my mask. Somebody made a comment today when I was there. She couldn't believe that I had gloves and a hand sanitizer wipes with me. I don't leave home without them, and I don't go to the
No.
stores without them. I'm always wherever I am. I'm going to, even though I have gloves on, I'm touching the doorknob with a hand sanitizer. I'm doing what I have to do, wipe everything down while I'm going. Yeah. And
Yeah.
she was like, oh my God, I never thought of that. Well,
Wow.
now you got to think about all of
Protect
that.
yourself, right?
Yeah, exactly. You got to think about all that.
So if both of you could change, are you thinking of changing anything in your booths other than getting the bigger one? But Dawn and Mary, are you think like, or even Johnny, when you put the stuff in the new booth, are you making any changes, drastic changes? like
But
new.
for me, it's going to be easier for me because now I have more walls
Mhm.
where I had to make the walls
Right.
with the shelves.
Yeah.
So I'm going to be looking for other ways of putting display cases up along the wall because I have that wall opportunity because I don't like a cluttered booth. So if I have like the corners that I can use for like say something a little bit bigger and bulky, then that's what I'm going to use the corners for. I'm going to leave those corners open because again, if you try to put a corner with another corner of a shelf, you're not going to get you're losing space.
Right.
Yeah.
You want to use up that space with something larger, and that's what I plan on doing. And this will be another opportunity where now I can start putting in a lot of the paintings that I want to get rid of. That is just I've enjoyed it. It's time to let it go for someone else to enjoy.
Mhm.
And then again, that's just easy money because it's already here, it's already there, and then I just got to list it in my inventory and put it in for sale.
And I mean,
We thought about getting a display case,
Yeah.
renting a display case
because the
upright.
the same place we're in also has full display cases that they'll rent for, I don't know, how much was it?
75.
$75 a
It's
month.
not a lot, yeah.
Yeah. We thought about that, doing that, kind of expanding out that way, but
For a lot of the smaller stuff.
yeah, and some of the glassware and just stuff that we don't have room for.
And
To
they have to make
properly
it in it, right?
Yeah. So, but that's really about it. I'm pretty happy with the space we have. We've got a bunch of furniture projects waiting in storage. that we're going to-
You sold that desk
we
with
sold that desk.
the map that you did. That was very cool.
No, I did not. As far as I know, we have not sold the one that I
hasn't sold
did.
yet.
Oh, okay.
That one
The
hasn't
big
sold.
desk.
The
sold.
big desk, the big brown one in the pictures.
She like never let me forget that I bought that
It was
thing.
much bigger than she thought it was. Let's
Okay.
start with that. And it was huge. And I'm like, we got to get.
But
this
it came
desk
in pieces.
Yeah.
It was
Anyway,
easier to carry.
that sold, but but that's why we want to get the display case moved around and get that out more because right now it's behind the display cases in the front of the booth, and we want to get that little desk out.
Dawn thought that would be a good place for it, and
I don't like it
so
now.
we tried it, and it
don't like
didn't
it.
work. So we'll have to go in and spend a couple hours
I don't like it.
moving
You
because
make,
you got to take everything out of it and then put everything back in.
Yeah.
And
you make changes. You don't like it, you change it back, or you change it
What's
around.
a good thing about it too when you move that around like that, and you have some people that are repeatedly coming in, they see that it's something, so they go, "Oh, well, this looks different. Let me see what I missed. What's new?"
Mhm.
And so that draws them in to see what you have in your booth.
And
because
you do have regulars. You do have people that come every week. If they're, especially at least in Michigan, they're walking the mall or whatever. They're just going into.
There's Brandon. How's the snow bunny doing?
Hey, Brandon.
It's good.
How you doing?
You're hibernating today?
Yeah, we didn't have school today. About
The
14
reason-
months.
If a lot of people in the chat don't know, the reason I asked Brandon in is, as you see him on the auctions and everything, but he and his mother, right? Mother too?
Yep.
Also have an antique mall booth. I invited quite a few people to come in and talk about it. Let me ask the one question that I should have asked in the very beginning. Now, Brandon, you too. Neither of the three of you have a storage unit.
Oh, we have a storage unit.
You have a storage unit?
We do. We have a storage unit that has.
we ran out of space in the garage.
We ran out of space in the garage, and we have a bunch of furniture projects that we have to do.
Oh, the big stuff.
Yeah, like
And we don't have a heated garage. I can't do this stuff in my basement.
right to for
Okay.
refinishing, painting, etc. So they're
Sanding.
waiting. Yeah, so we picked up a lot of projects over during the fall.
I appreciate that you said we.
Brandon, do you have pictures of your booth?
I do.
How do you do big stuff in your booth?
No, I mostly do small things. I do like maybe a bookshelf or two, for big things, but mostly it's just jewelry and little toys and trinkets.
And I'm just trying to get you caught up with everybody else. Is your mall near a transient area?
Main highway, whatever.
Yeah, so
Transient.
I'm in two different malls, and I have to.
You have two booths?
I got two booths in two different malls. Yep.
Cool.
And what I do For the first one, it's right off the interstate, like literally half a block off the interstate. So you can see it from the highway, and it gets good traffic. The other one is in like a little downtown area, kind of like a square with a courthouse. It's in a little square downtown area, I guess.
Downtown
And that
square.
brings a lot of traffic. So,
And how long have you had these booths?
I've had one booth for a year and a half now, and the other one for 6 months.
On your booths, do you have anything that you keep on the lock
Nope,
that's grabbable, easy, or you just leave it open?
I just leave it open.
Wow.
Now, do you find you have any theft problems there?
I haven't had any theft problems. The only problems I had, and I kind of hate it, but it's when people move stuff to other booths.
Mhm.
Brandon,
That's an issue.
what's going on over here? I'm noticing.
Nothing.
And what does that have to do with antique booths?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
That's a good question.
It's
And
called
you should
the
talk, Paul.
quarantine growth.
Mhm.
Wow. Oh boy. So now, does yours have a parking lot also? Are they like where the one with the courthouse
You
is?
shouldn't be ashamed of that.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
Grant, I had mine since I was
Notice
16.
Yeah, Paul has a trouble keeping his, so you're doing good.
Yeah, I took mine just about all the way off. But I've had a beard since I've been 16. So don't.
Well, there you go. What do you
I
get?
started
Um,
shooting at 9, so go figure that one.
Yeah, well,
Does yours have parking lot facilities, or is it just off-street parking or on-street parking? Your malls?
Mine one booth in the downtown section has street parking, and the other booth off the interstate has their own parking lot.
Do you have any pictures you could share with us?
Paul, did you see
Uh,
Stash's comment about love uranium glass and it's a good display case?
Yes.
I would have never thought of it being a display case.
Oh yeah, man. if
good
you
for
put the
display
light-
cases. Yeah, if you can get a black light on them, it's even better.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Taking a look here.
There's been a lot of that coming up in our local auctions here also. Some of it goes for a lot of money, and then all of a sudden, something goes.
Depends on the piece and the rarity of it.
Yeah.
And Nana Tink sells it really well. She does really well with hers.
Dead silence.
He's
Yes,
Mhm.
Stash made a good comment. Location counts all.
I don't know if you can see that, but there's half my booth.
nice.
Oh, so you have a wall too?
Yeah. Well,
Is that your own table or is that something they supply to you?
that's my own.
Okay.
Yeah. There's that part, and then where's the other
Nice.
one? We've got more pictures. I just gotta find them. Where are they?
So you've had them for a year, so obviously it's working for you too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so for instance, this is my mom's booth.
Oh, wow.
Wow.
Yeah,
Got a
she,
lot of color.
What's that yellow thing with the red stripe and the white base?
Looks like a globe on top of it.
right
Yeah.
here.
Yeah.
Yep.
Those are a bunch of tins.
Oh, okay.
They're old
Nice.
tins. with
Wow.
handles.
That is so cool.
Yeah. My mom puts a lot of jewelry in her booth.
Yeah,
Yeah, I guess so.
But
she probably sells a lot though too.
yeah, see there's the other side of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I used to have
Yeah,
that
she
turtle
definitely
when I was a kid.
And then this is the other side of the wall.
Wow.
Nice.
You got a lot of stuff.
Is that a corner shelf in that corner where she's got all that stuffed animals?
Yep.
Plush. Cool.
I want to show you one more picture if I can find it.
You know, she paints it yellow.
This is also one of her booths. She's got a booth in 3 different shops, and this is one of the other shops.
Oh wow.
She's got a lot of jewelry there, that's for sure.
Mm-hmm. This is one of the shops that's more. She prides us more to the female side because it's like a boutique look.
Yeah.
But she does have a lot of that type of jewelry too.
Yeah.
There's a ton of necklaces there.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Vintage hats and a whole bunch of stuff. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for our booth.
Very cool.
Cool.
So you like doing the booth?
Mm-hmm. I think it's fun.
How much time do you spend on stacking it, storing it, displaying it?
I like
Facing the shelves, as we used to call it at Walmart.
Stuck in the shelves.
I like to try to go to my booth at least twice a month. Because I go once in the beginning to pick up the check and to add stuff, and then at the end of the month I also go to add more stuff because more stuff sells. So.
Mm-hmm.
And does your manager or owner, did they ever give you ideas like, hey, this is selling, that's selling, maybe you want to look into stocking some of this?
It's funny because they just say to us is bring in the same stuff that you're bringing because you're selling it.
There you go.
Oh, wow. Well, that's good too, right? That's positive.
Yeah. Like in one of the antique shops, I think my mom and I both were making more together with our two booths than 60% of the antique mall.
Oh wow, that's good.
Wow.
Yeah. So the lady that runs it, she always goes, I'm gonna miss you guys if you guys ever leave this place.
Yeah, it's a good commission to have, right?
Oh, yeah.
Now that brings up another question. Do all of you all pay a monthly rent?
Mm-hmm.
And Johnny says they take the taxes out. I don't know if they do that for Dawn and Brand.
Starting this year.
They do the taxes. They don't take it out of our money. If I have
taxes.
$250 on a piece, I'm gonna get my $250.
Yeah.
They collect the tax from the buyer.
Right, and
they're going to do that this year.
They do all of that. Yeah,
right.
I don't have to worry about none of that.
Is now are the only fees that you pay the monthly, or do they also get like a percentage of the sales?
For my place, what they do is there's certain booths that have, like, say they have a wall with windows. If it's a closed-in booth that's like more of a room, then you get the rent. You have to pay the rent by the square footage, of course, and then it's a percentage of your sales that you have to pay them towards part of your rent.
Mm-hmm.
You still got your rent, but you got to pay a percentage of your sales to them.
So is it because you would have technically a premium booth?
Correct.
Premium space?
Yeah. In other words, it's a closed-in room or a room that they walk in through door without an actual door, then yes, that would be a premium.
What about
those? Usually run about $250 to $300 or more per month. But you're looking at high dollar stuff that's going to be in those booths,
right?
That they know they're going to sell. But I see a lot of times those particular booths, they're always changing people out. They just can't stay in there.
Wow. Yeah.
Because they're asking too much for it, or they're just not selling the right amount of stuff. I've seen one particular booth where every time I go once a month, I'm going to say at least once a month, I'm seeing somebody else leaving one of the booths and somebody else going in it.
Wow.
That's how fast that one particular booth is. It's just something about it. I don't know.
What about Dawn and Mary? Do you have to pay a commission?
Yes, but it's very minimal. And we have to pay credit card fees.
Mm-hmm. Depending if it's cash sale, we don't have to.
Yeah, cash sale. But yeah, so there's rent. There's a small percentage of sales, like 1% or something, and then
credit card,
fee.
Yeah, credit card fee, which is
merchant
a
fee.
couple percent.
Right.
And I think that's it.
Sorry. What about you, Brandon?
It's booth rent and then a small commission.
Okay, so everybody's just about the same, right?
Mm-hmm.
Well, again, you have to check the local areas that you're going to be wanting to be interested in going to, and see what they're doing. What are they charging? Because for me, that's all I pay is my rent. It comes out of what I sell, and I get the rest. That's it. But some places, some may charge a percentage of your sales and the rent, and like in this case, credit card fees. So you just got to really do your research and look at the place. Go search it out. Go see if there's a lot of people there. See how much traffic is going in and out of there. Like I did. Rob and I would go to these antique malls and places where we would at different times and different days of the week. where you don't go the same day every week, because then you're not really going to see a true traffic of what's going on in that store or that mall.
Exactly.
And
You
if
have
don't
to
want-
really be doing your homework.
If you don't want to walk in the door every time, just drive by and look at the parking lot.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right. Kind of like a restaurant. Oh, that place is packed. The food must be great.
Yeah, exactly. And that's basically the same thing you got to do there. You got to feel it out, see what's going on and how their business is running.
Yeah.
You know, and every now and then go check in and see how things are going inside.
Cool. So
And some places you got a certain time frame. Like for me, I can do it any time. But when we were quarantined, sort of say, we were only able to go in from 11 to 1. So that's other things that they have to consider too if something happens where you don't have an ability to get in there.
Vintage, if you want to come in and talk about your booth, there's the link. Now, since we got so many people, since we have so many people in the chat, are either of the three of you looking for something that you are having a hard time finding to stock your booth with? Maybe somebody in the chat might have it and can help you out with it.
No,
Well, I'm always
Not
looking
me.
for records. I'm always looking for
I have a
records.
basement full of stuff and a garage full of stuff.
But I'm
And
always
you see,
looking
for me, I have records, I have albums, I have stuff like that. But the booth that I've had now, there's no way I can put them there because there's no way to fit them on those shelves or in that
Yeah.
little space.
Yeah.
So now that I'm going into the bigger booth, I'll be able to bring those in now.
And you should, because they'll sell.
I will. But it is what it is that they had one booth in the whole mall that was selling records and albums, and they're not even there no more.
Nice.
Now, Mr. Stash, almost like eBay fee and PayPal fee, but it's nowhere close.
It's nowhere
It's
close.
not the same.
No.
It's not as high.
Yeah. What
And then
eBay
the shipping
pay-
fees.
Yeah, and you don't have to ship it.
No shipping costs, no packing material.
No boxes, we've got none of that having a booth.
Yeah.
That's why I'm loving Amazon FBA. Although talk about those fees, those like 20%. But still, if you credit card fees and a small commission, if you're under 10%, that's great.
Right.
Not having a pack, not having a ship, not having a list.
Now, not every mall or every location is going to charge you 5, 10, 15% of your income or your sales. It can be as little as even 2%, 1%.
Yeah.
Got to look and make sure you do your homework and see if they're charging you per credit card fee, or you getting charged a square footage plus a percentage of your sales for commission.
Mhm.
You got to look at all that before you decide to check into it.
Yep.
Don't
All
be
right.
afraid to do it. Do your homework and see what's best for you. And
Yeah,
make
it's just-
decisions.
Are
And I
you
don't
all-
mind the credit card fee because
It's money.
I don't have to buy the machine, and all that stuff.
Exactly.
So I don't mind us paying a percentage.
Mm-mm.
right?
Yeah, if my mall told me I had to do it, I wouldn't mind either because I'm selling high dollar item stuff and it's moving.
Yep.
But I don't have to worry about packing that stuff and shipping it.
Yeah.
And they walking right out of the mall with it. So yeah.
No problem, Vintage. I thought I'd offer anyway. No problem. He's getting ready to eat.
I just want to say hello to everybody that I might have missed. I know we've been in a deep conversation with this topic. Oh, hello.
Yeah.
Let's see. I meant fees for monthly store, both free and small fees that charge at any.
At the end.
And you definitely have to do your homework and see because each place is different. Like I was saying when we first moved here, I was interested in this one particular mall because there was always empty spaces.
Mhm.
But then I started, the more we would go in there, the more you see leaking roofs, bowls and containers collecting water. I'm kind of glad it was a blessing that they didn't call me and tell me there was no space available.
Yeah.
But the more we would go in there, the worse it seemed like it got.
Oh,
So it was
wow.
a blessing for me to get where I'm at now because I don't see that problem there.
Well,
So
see, I was waiting to get into the antique mall by the interstate, and they've had all their spots full, and I was on the waiting list for about like 9-10 months, and then COVID hit, and then all the elderly people moved out of their booths, so then they had a lot of open spaces, and I was like, yes.
Take
And
advantage.
it's sad to say, but again, that happens all the time too because look where I'm at. The one that I had the little square ball with all the shelves, the main row across from me, those are always getting empty every time I turn around. But the minute I turn around and look at more stuff in my booth, somebody else was already moving in it. That's
Yeah.
how fast
Wow.
they go. You just got to be ready to move in and make that decision when you're ready and get on a waiting list if you have to.
Wow.
You can start small. You don't have to start big. You don't have to take a full 10 by 10 or whatever.
Well, like I started with a bookcase, just a
Exactly.
corner shelf bookcase.
Or rent a display case or whatever.
I started with just a shelf, and now I'm at a shelf in a big 10 by 12 booth or
Right.
something like that.
Now, most places like where I'm at, they even have like these small, little bookcases you buy for a child's room or something. It's very small, just to put books in. They even have those little spaces for people to start with. They even have like a bookshelf that's from the floor to the ceiling. I'll say that because some of the ceilings are kind of low. That you can start with those. Those are like $25 for one shelf, one bookshelf. And that's how you basically get your foot in the door. And as long as you keep going and changing your booth and weekly going and taking care of your booth, you get to see and walk around and see what's available. Because every now and then you might see a sign that says for rent, coming soon. Because a lot of times ours will tell you the rent will be available starting February 1st or March for whenever it may be available. So you want to be ready when you have that potential of wanting to do it.
Yep.
So then there's a chance for people, like if you have a lot of stuff, like I have an eBay room. If you have a lot of stuff that you don't want to list or whatever, like they were saying, rent a small space, $50, even less, $80. Get that stuff out there, get it in the people's eyes, and hopefully get a sale.
Well, yeah, because our smallest place at ours is $25 for the smallest booth.
$25.
And that is just for a typical small bookcase, but that's getting your foot in the door with something small to start yourself with. Because that's what I did. I started with a bookcase.
And see, this is how I think of an antique booth. It's like a storage unit, except you're not paying like $200-$300 a month to keep your stuff hidden. At least it's out there. If someone buys it, someone can buy it. But for me, if I don't sell a lot in a month, I just think it is a storage unit because I don't have enough space here at our house to hold all of it.
Mm-hmm.
Are you all three of you? Is it all 7 days a week? Are they closed on Sunday, Saturday? I mean, is it all 7 days a week?
Yeah,
7 days a week. The only time they were closed was Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, holidays.
Holidays. Yeah.
It's
Major
like
holidays.
it's almost like having a garage sale 7 days a week, and you don't have
High-end garage sale.
Yeah.
you don't have to sit at it. You don't have to get up early. You don't have to put the stuff away that didn't sell.
There is some work there, though, Paul. You're not just like throwing stuff in the room.
No, you got to be organized and
You have
clean.
to inventory it.
Have you seen the photos I showed?
You're right. You have to
be organized.
You have to merchandise it.
Yeah, you have to merchandise. You have to keep track of it, inventory it. They like most places request that you have your booth number on your labels, your price tags, at least, and an inventory number and description on there. So you got a little pre-work to do.
Right.
But it's not. It's yeah.
And we make
at your own pace when you're doing it, to where you know if you're getting ready to sell some more stuff and you want to bring more stuff in, you kind of know by going weekly what is moving, what is selling before the end of the month, or you can continuously bring.
Yeah.
If you're selling more jewelry or more houseware or whatever, you can bring that again the next week and make sure you have more to put in it.
Christine, I don't understand what you mean. YouTube doesn't charge anything, but we're talking about having booths in antique malls.
I wonder if you meant like doing YouTube auctions. YouTube charge us sellers or something.
No,
not yet.
So you don't have to worry about shipping because you worry about it getting there. That's right. That's why I enjoy it.
Yep, exactly.
But again, you always have to be willing. And again, a lot of the prep work is making sure it's clean, making sure you got the tag right, your inventory. You got to make sure, because for me, I put everything on a spreadsheet. So I have the item, I have the description, and then I have a spreadsheet where how much I paid for it, how much I'm going to ask for it, what day it sold, what day I put it in the booth, and then what day it sold. Because on my paperwork I get, it even tells me what day it was sold. So that gives me an idea of how long something stayed in my booth.
Our antique mall, you can walk in and ask for a printout for your booth any time of the month.
Anytime.
Right.
And I'll get a printout so I know how much we have to sell yet before
the end of the month.
We owe them money.
Yeah.
Right.
So, they're really good about it.
But then also it gives you an idea of what you've sold, every item. So you can go back to your spreadsheet, tick it off the spreadsheet, say sold for this amount of money or whatever. And then so you know what's selling. Is vinyl selling well? Or is jewelry selling well? Is cookie cutters selling well.
And what I do on my spreadsheet is the day I sell it, like on my report they give me when it's sold, I'll even take that whole line and turn it into yellow on my form to let me know that it's sold. And I'm keeping track of what's selling. And for me right now, it's like the sewing machines, the cameras, the jewelry, vintage things that you put in the old time houses that you saw in your great grandmother's house. You just never know.
And that's the fun of it, because you just don't know. You know, we've put stuff in the booth and we're like, yeah, I don't know. And then like, boom, gone.
I had an old checkerboard that somebody had made. It was like an old wooden checkerboard that you just place on the table. I got it, put it and it's already sold. I would have never thought it sold, but it did, you know?
Yeah, see, for me, it was right before Christmas, too. I went to a local thrift store, bought a box of vintage ornaments, took it to the antique shop that day, and I was just about to put it on the shelf, and this guy walks up and buys it right off my hands before I could even put it on the shelf.
Nice.
Wow.
Maybe 2019.
You may want to answer that, Christina's.
Christina.
Question.
I was there.
So you can sell and do anything while on air live. Not really.
Not
really.
Okay.
There is a huge increase ever since COVID. There's been a huge increase in Facebook and YouTube auctions. People selling because they got to make money. They got to pay their rent. They got to eat. So
you need a new pair of shoes.
Yep. There's been
got resourceful.
Yeah.
Pay for college.
But yeah, you just
Brandon's paying for college. You're right.
Yep. You just can't do anything.
No, because you can get your channel pulled if you do something you're not supposed to.
That's right. You can't play like copywritten music, things like that in the background.
You may want to read the rules and regulations for YouTube before you decide to do just anything.
Right. As much as like we're
right.
doing this now, as much as I would love to have some cool music playing in the background, you can't because
Video will be pulled.
Yep.
To answer the question that somebody want to know how much that Spock and Kirk.
Oh yes.
I found it. It's $75.
Yeah, and it's original artwork by Gary Saderup.
From 1989. There you go. That was your question answered. It took me a minute to find it on the spreadsheet, but I found it.
I'm the same way. I got to really look at my descriptions to see what I have.
Sorry, I'm a buyer. That's why I asked. I don't resell. I don't sell.
Oh,
Hopefully you didn't get ripped off. But the people that you see here are all trustworthy, and we all sell, and we're on YouTube a lot, all of us. So hopefully, you didn't have a bad experience.
Well, the best thing about it too, when I go in somebody's chat for an auction, a lot of times I don't buy right away. I want to see if there's a lot of people complaining in the chats. You know not to go buy from that person.
Right.
I see it a lot.
Right.
We're part of doing the research. You
So any final thoughts you would tell the people that this is why we like storage
wars,
antique malls compared versus a storage unit?
Okay, I started the show this time. Dawn, y'all answer the question first.
There you go. Thank you.
I just like to go to the storage unit and like stare at my stuff and go, "Spring, get here."
Yeah, no, it is an alternative to storing it. Obviously, we have an opportunity to market our bigger items, some stuff that we don't want to ship, some items that we think will have more local appeal than others. Also, it's an opportunity to source, because if you're doing it right, you're there every week. And you have a chance to look at other people's stuff, and sometimes you pick up good deals there too. So that's why.
Yeah, because there's times that I work. We'll both go. She leaves me in the booth to rearrange the furniture.
I take the plant and go back to the bathroom where I have to water it, and then I'd shop while I go.
I actually have not walked through the whole mall in a long time because I'm
holding a plant.
Holding a plant.
Yeah, well, it was a thing. I probably should pull the plant, but I put it in there to make it look homey when we first got the booth. So,
or I walk around with a black light looking for uranium glass.
She does that
too. But.
And it was Dawn's idea to do an antique booth, and I kind of, and I'm glad we did it because it's an opportunity to just have another revenue stream.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're not going to get rich doing it, but we're doing all right.
We're doing okay. Yeah. So yes, it's worth it.
Excellent. All right, Brandon. I know you came in late.
Yeah. Well, so what I'm thinking more towards having an antique booth is it's good for young entrepreneurs. Young kids or young adults that don't really have enough money to support the material, the bubble wrap, the boxes, the basically extra things you need to ship. It's a good way for people, young entrepreneurs, to get their stuff out and sell it, basically. That's what I think
And
of it.
Brandon, remind everybody in the chat how old you are.
I'm 18.
He's 18, and he's got shows that he does on YouTube selling stuff. He's got 2 antique mall booths. He comes up with this stuff that's marketing that I told him. I says, that's a fantastic idea. Keep it going. And that he's right there. He's right. He has the entrepreneurial spirit right there.
Mm-hmm.
And he's not only a senior in high school, but he has a full scholarship to go to college.
Yep.
Now he's just raising money to pay for all the little things he's got to pay for in college.
Well,
For me, I would go
I
ahead.
have a full tuition scholarship.
Oh, tuition. I'm sorry. Yeah, that's right.
You don't have to pay room and
for
board
me,
and
You have
fees,
been corrected.
but tuition.
That's right. The thing I have to say is, for me, I really don't. When we moved from New Orleans to here, I told Robert, I do not want us to get a storage unit. Don't want to have to worry about cleaning it and worrying about rodents and things like that. For me, I'd rather have an antique mall where, one, I get to visit it once a week, freshen it up, bring some new stuff, meet other people. You get to know others that work there and may have booths there as well. You get to see what's selling, what people have in their booths. For me, it's more of a way to have a better revenue source of income to come in that you don't have to worry about. The main thing you have to do is make sure it's clean, sourceful, and have good things in there for people to buy, and be respectful when you go in there. Donnie's beard is very fluffy today. Yes, it is. I wore my mask, but you can see the actual mask line right under my chin.
Why, sir, you're so fluffy.
You're fluffy.
You're fluffy.
It's so fluffy.
Right.
Okay.
So again, like I said, you definitely need to do your homework before you even step into that. But I would rather have an antique mall where I'm paying for the rental, yes, but I have people going in and buying. Whereas vice versa, if you have a storage, it's just sitting there. Nobody can see it.
Exactly. It makes no sense. I mean, granted, if you have big furniture and stuff, yes. Plus, it's a good place to paint and stuff like that if it's in a warmer place, I guess.
Mhm.
And again, you have to view what's best for you. Like in Don and Mary's, they need the bigger space because of the furniture pieces they have. Granted, they don't have the space for it there, but now they have a place where they can keep it and work on it when it does have the time to do it.
Right, exactly. So if there's no more questions, or if anybody has a last minute question, get it in the chat, because I think we're going to end this. Hopefully we gave everybody some great information. This was the third show of this that we did, so you can always look back at my playlist. I mean, even I learned more stuff today.
You
But
just need to jump into it, Paul.
Yeah.
I am a big proponent of multiple streams of income, and that's the way I look at this as an antique mall or a booth, a permanent booth on a flea market. It's just another stream of income.
Well,
If-
what you can look at it too is, even though maybe a stream of income, another thing is you don't have to pay for the packing materials, the shipping,
Right.
the postage. That's all taken care of because once they grab it, it's gone, it's out of there.
Mhm.
You don't have to worry about all that extra stuff that we do, like on eBay and Amazon or whatever platform you sell on. So that's another thing you want to weigh your pros and cons about too when you're thinking about that.
Exactly.
Thanks, Chuck.
Thanks, Chuck.
Exactly.
Chuck, I'll send you the check later.
Yeah, really.
He helps everyone. I try to, Christine. I am one of those that I'd rather help someone succeed than fail. So that's why I always have an open door policy for if anybody ever has questions, needs a question or something help with on whatever the case may be. If I know it, I'll help. If I don't, I'll get the answers or information to help you. I always have that available. I will always be available to anyone as much as I can to help you in any way I can. And even those that are in the morning show, when they come on, Believe it or not, even after the show ends, I'm helping them behind the scenes because they have questions. So I don't mind setting up a private chat
Just
and help.
reach out.
I've helped Brandon and his mom. They had some questions. I don't mind. Look, ask them. I'll help you if I can. If I don't know the answers, I will research it with you to help you find it. So I am always blessed to be able to help somebody else.
Yeah, don't ever be shy. Like, because I'm on, Johnny's on, Brandon's on, the two hip chicks are on. Don't ever be shy of asking a question.
It's our email. I don't have it on our page, it's
Okay.
not below us, but
Yeah, we're all willing to help you out.
Yeah.
Don't ever be shy of
I'm sorry, Chuck, but I will not help on taxes. I can help you as far as what I do and what I know, but I will never tell you what to do on your taxes.
Oh God, no.
no,
No,
we're
I'm
not
not an
tax
expert on
professionals.
that. Just like
But we pay somebody to do our taxes.
I'm not an
because,
expert, but I can help you.
but
Yeah.
if anybody
Yeah.
ever has any questions about reselling
Yeah.
or antique booths or whatever, just
Ask.
drop us an email.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate the Christine because I do that for everyone. So don't feel that you have all my information. I'm very transparent. So if you ever need anything, you can reach out. All my information is always in all my descriptions. You're always welcome to reach out to me if you need any help with something.
And I can tell you right away, not to stir up anything, but sales taxes had to be paid a few days ago. And when I said that in Johnny's show the other morning, somebody didn't know that.
No, it's in February.
No, not your 1040s. Your
1040s have to be done by the 15th of the month from the previous month.
Your sales tax, your business sales tax had to be paid. Somebody didn't even know where his was until he had to go.
It was funny how he was looking all over the place for it. Yeah, it's in this pile.
So it's just things like that, and you could see that the people on the panel, you got to know your numbers, you got to know what you're doing. How do you know if you're making a profit? How do you know, if it is worth?
Like for example, if you can buy something for 25 cents and you can turn it for $8, $9, that's a great profit.
Right.
You can do it all day with either other items. Like for example, the sewing machine I sold for $250. Only bought it for $45.
Right.
So that is a great investment. So you want to look at things like that, especially when it comes to antique malls, because you can turn those bigger items easier than having to worry about shipping it.
Oh yeah,
big time.
Definitely.
Now you're not going to get rich over it. I guarantee you. It depends on how much you put in your boots and stuff like that. But being consistent on anything you do in these platforms is going to make a big difference in how you succeed.
And diversifying is important. You don't want to put all your eggs in one basket.
Nope.
Try something,
especially in this line of work.
Yeah.
All these eggs.
And you always want to try something to see, does it work? Like spaghetti, when you put boiling pasta, when you throw it to the wall, does it stick? That's the kind of thing you want to do with this type of work as well.
Yeah.
Yep.
Always learning, always researching.
So, Dawn and Mary, when is the next time you're on?
Tomorrow, right?
No, Thursday. Today's Tuesday.
Today felt like Wednesday. You know how it is.
So when are you on? Tuesdays and Thursdays?
We're on at noon, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Eastern Standard Time.
Eastern Standard Time, our show live. We talk about absolutely everything. So reselling is just part of that. So we figure everybody could just use a noonday break. So so we just yak about many, many things. So.
To hell with accountability.
Yeah. We should call it that. To hell with accountability show.
All right.
Accountability for an hour. Yeah.
And Brandon, when's the next time you're on? Or you're on constantly on Sundays, right?
Sundays with Carol. I missed last time because I had to do a lot of Lego work and get my room straightened up. But Sundays with Carol and Debbie and Max at 4 p.m. Eastern. And I'm also on Johnny's, but I'm Johnny's on Wednesdays starting last week. But since I have the music up, my mom's going to take a lot of those Wednesdays. So we're on his Hump Day auctions.
Cool.
Yeah.
And Johnny, everybody get a notepad out and a pencil.
Because he's always on.
I'm going to make this very easy. If you have not subscribed to my channel and you do go subscribe, make sure you hit the bell because Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. Eastern, I have the morning coffee with Cajun. We talk about any topic that has to do with particular things that people ask in the chat. So if you have a question and it becomes our topic for the day, 9 times out of 10, it's going to be the topic that everybody gets involved with. So I try to make sure that if I start with something that I see in a chat from the previous night, is going to be talked about as a topic to start the day off with, but then we make it basically follow the chat. So if you haven't subscribed, definitely check that out every morning, Monday through Friday. On Monday nights, I have bingo, 5 p.m. Eastern. Every Monday night is bingo fun night. It's free to play. You win prizes, and we do what's called the fast bingo round. And so speed bingo is one of those things that everybody enjoys, and we do have a lot of prizes that go out. So every Monday at 5 o'clock, don't forget, it's free to play. You come in, you pick 5 numbers, 1 through 75. You put them in the chat, you write them down, and that's your numbers for the night. And you just sit back and enjoy the show and have fun in the chat. On Wednesdays, every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern before Paul, I do what's called the Hump Day auction every Wednesday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Usually, right now, we have my co-hosts are Queen Cleopatra and Susanna's Chronicle. And then if and when Brandon and his mom can either make it either or, they are also the permanent guests as permanent co-hosts as well. And so we basically do that every Wednesday. And then Saturdays at 2 p.m. Eastern, starting this Saturday, with Queen Cleopatra, we have what's called the Royal Auction. And as of right now, we're going to be doing it every other weekend right now because of the way she works. We find that would be the best way to keep that schedule going so she can continue doing her auctions like she's enjoying. So starting this Saturday and every other Saturday thereafter, we'll be doing our Royal Auction. And do my cooking show. So check that out as well.
There's tomorrow's topic of the day, everybody. And yes, Robert.
I make sure I oil it down because that mask I had to wear the whole time I was in the antique mall, it just curves the whole bottom of my beard. Yeah.
Yeah, and I did take mine just about off. So with that, everyone, thank you very much for spending some time with us here today. You can expect me to go on a little bit more. I know I stopped doing the 6 o'clock shows every day since the beginning of the year. Things have changed a lot. And we do have Swap Meet Wednesdays at 6, the Dolly and Polly show Fridays at 6. And I'm going to do a couple of more shows here and there, more business related. And I'll bring more people on also, and probably Johnny and Don and Lego Man again. We'll talk again.
Just
I
you,
love
I mean,
talking these different
apparently
topics.
I offended him.
It's okay. It's okay.
And I want to say thank you, Christina,
and
for the
Mary.
kind words in the chat. And I've said that in every chat. I'd rather help someone that needs help, no matter what it is, how small or how big it is. And that's just the way I am. So thank you for that kind words.
Yep. And please subscribe to my channel so you know, and hit the bell icon, hit all so you know every time we go on. And hope you subscribe to everybody that's here on the panel. So with that,
Exactly. He's going on, and I'm like, when does Robert ever see this guy? Ay, ay, ay.
yeah. So don't forget, tomorrow's topic of the day is how do you get your beard so fluffy? And we'll see you later.
Later. Love all.